వస్తుంది, కొద్దిగా కట్ చేసేసుకో సరిపోతుంది. Hi students, welcome back to the classes on Indian society for Telangana group 2. Today we are going to start unit 2, and in that we are going to discuss about a topic called inequality and exclusion, inequality and social exclusion. So inequality and exclusion topic, to understand this topic, it is more of a philosophical topic. It is not a concrete topic like acts, constitutional provisions, safeguards, etc. We have to understand the philosophical background, the logic behind the concept of inequality. So why the whole concept of inequality came into picture? Why societies are basically unequal? Why there is a concept of exclusion of few communities, social exclusion of few communities in the society? So we have to look at this at a historical, a philosophical, a background check angle, so that we will understand why societies produce the inequalities. So historically speaking, societies are unequal by nature. Societies are not always equal. So equality as a concept, is always seen as an aspiration. Equality is an aspiration of all the societies, because societies are unequal by nature. Societies are unequal by nature. Why we are saying by nature? Because societies are unequal in various facets, For example, this is a society. Suppose think that this is Indian society. What type of inequalities do we have? We have social inequality, political inequality, economic inequality. We have technological inequality. Cultural inequality. We are only talking about the subheadings, types of inequalities that we have. We also have caste inequality, regional inequality, factors of inequality. If you talk about factors of inequality, we have geographical inequality, regional, religious inequality, caste inequality. Also we have race inequality in the world society and also in the concept of Indian society. So if you see, inequalities are produced by the nature of the society by itself. So societies are unequal by nature. We also have gender inequality, very, very important, gender inequality. So political, economical, social, technological, cultural, environmental, gender, caste, regional, all those inequalities. If you see this pie chart or this diagram, you will understand how many types of inequalities are there in the society. So this topic, my dear students, I am telling you, questions are asked from a philosophical angle. For example, political inequality. What is a political inequality? Few communities are underrepresented. Few sections of the population are not having the political equality. For example, scheduled caste communities, scheduled tribe communities. That is why we have reservations of seats in the political bodies like state legislative assemblies, also like the parliament. So each level political inequality is a particular condition. For example, social justice. social inequality is there for few castes. So to tackle this problem, government produces various social justice programs, like for example sub plan for the scheduled caste development, sub plan for the scheduled tribe development, ITDA for scheduled tribe development. Gender inequality, women are not represented properly in the society. Women's participation in the workforce is very less. For example, a tribal community's participation is very less in the mainstream politics, mainstream workforce. And if you see, for example, there is the less participation of women in the political bodies. So 33% reservation for women in the local bodies already achieved by Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, Usha Mehta Committee recommendations, 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments. We have got the reservation for women 33% in the local bodies, Gram Panchayat, municipalities and Jilla Parishad, 3 levels, local bodies. So similarly, we are going to put the reservations for women in the state legislative assemblies, legislative councils and also in the parliament in the future. So that bill is already passed by the government. So why this is happening? Because there is some level of inequality, political inequality that is happening with the women. And for example, OBC communities are underrepresented in the government jobs. And according to the recent reports, only 4% of the OBCs are professors in the, in the professors of central universities, only 4% are OBCs. So it means they are underrepresented. These kind of issues are taken by the government or the parliament, the highest law-making body of the country, and they will impertinently try to produce that equality to bring them to that level. Simple concept of equality inequality is societies always try to become equal, egalitarianism. We call it egalitarianism. Always Jeremy Bentham's concept of utilitarianism and egalitarianism is the most important part for us. So egalitarianism is a very big concept in itself, egalitarianism. Equality, society should be equal. Always, it is not a one-day process, it is not a paradigm process, it is not a sudden process. The process is incremental in nature. Supposingly, if there is a scale like this, equality, inequality scale, equality scale. Some societies may be 100% unequal, some societies may be 0% unequal or unequal scales. Some societies may be 100% in terms of race. In terms of race, supposingly race is seen as a very important point where inequalities is produced. So some societies may be 100%, some may be 90%, some 80%, some 50%, so on and so forth. Okay, just think like that. It is only for your understanding. So it is a travel. It is a travel. The societies will travel from unequal to equal. Unequal to equal. 0% inequality means most egalitarian society. So this traveling from unequal to equal is done by the public policy or the state policy and the constitution in the context of India, constitution and the parliament. So these bodies will try to produce the rhythm, produce the acceleration required for the traveling from unequal to equal. So all the societies today, the progressive society, the socialist economies, the capitalist economies, the communist economies, every model of the society is trying to produce the egalitarian society by traveling from most unequal to most equal. This is how society, the concept of inequality should be understood. So, why this concept of inequality and exclusion is given for us in the exam is because to understand how societies produce inequalities, to understand the nature of inequalities produced by the society, and various interventions taken up by the successive governments to counter the inequality in the society, to counter the social exclusion in the society. That is the pattern that we have. Look at this topic in the class. Simple. So, societies are unequal by nature, as we have agreed upon this point already, and various types of inequalities are produced by the societies. Caste inequalities, gender inequalities, social inequalities, political inequalities. For example, I have talked about technological inequality. I will give you an example on how there is this, the debate Bharat versus India, Bharat versus India, digital divide, you might have heard about these terms, digital divide, Bharat versus India, digital illiteracy. Today we are able to see that we are going in the technological revolution. The world is seeing a unprecedented high level of technological revolution, ICT revolution, information and communication technology revolution, and we are in the stage of artificial intelligence and machine learning, AI and ML. So we are so much progressing in the technological innovations and ICTs, information and communication technologies, but still there are people who are not able to access the technology, who are not having the access to technology. So those people who are not having the access to the technology, who are not able to use this technology because of various reasons like illiteracy, they are known as digital illiterates. And in the context of India, most of the rural population are not able to reap the benefits of technological revolution. And this divide is known as digital divide. And there is this proper, antonym, the analogy is used to explain this phenomena, Bharat versus India. India is the population of urban where they are very much in access to the technological revolution, but Bharat, the rural areas which are very backward in accessing the technological revolution, reaping the benefits of technological revolution. So what I am trying to explain to you is to counter this particular inequality, technological inequality, the government has started a program called PMG Disha. So what this program? Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Sakshatkar Abhiyan. Simple. Pradhan Mantri Gramin Digital Sakshatkar Abhiyan. So under this program, digital connections are provided to the rural areas and digital literacy is taught to the people who are residing in the rural areas. So taking one type of inequality, we are trying to understand the concept here. Simple. This concept is not just given to understand the sociological theories of functionalism and conflict theory. Yes, we are also going to discuss that. But here, for a competitive exam aspirant, it is important to understand why there is inequality and what type of inequality, what the state is trying to reduce that inequality in this point scale. That is a simple idea. So here if you see, the technological inequality is there produced in the context of India. So this program, various other programs, for example, gas connections is not available to the few rural sections of the population. So Ujjwala scheme. So like various inequalities, various schemes. So simply, economic inequality is the most important inequality, as we all know. So like this, if you understand, if you see various concepts, various types of inequalities produced by the society and various types of interventions from the side of the government.